Huh? Oh, sorry. You caught me reading my favorite manga, Dragonball. Almost at the end of the Frieza saga. I think this is a good stopping point. After all, I'm almost at the end of the series. Right? Welcome everyone, this is Smugstick, and today we will be discussing the intended endings to the original Dragon Ball manga. Of course, we know that the Frieza arc was not the end of the series. The ending to the original manga was actually on May 23rd, 1995, after 10 years of publication in Shonen Jump. The series was created by Akira Toriyama and had showed that it would have a lasting impact not only on the magazine it was published on, but also pop culture in general.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
But was this where Dragon Ball was always meant to end? Did Toriyama have a massive 10-year plan all along? Well, if you know anything about Akira Toriyama, you know that he doesn't exactly plan too much ahead. On this episode of Dragon Ball Explained, I will be analyzing all the possible plans to end the series, and the actual ending we got. Most of this information can be found on the Kansenshu website, but I am making the information a bit abbreviated for the sake of the format and entertainment. Let's begin. The author, Akira Toriyama, had originally only storyboarded around 3 chapters, and planned for the story to end within a year. His original plan was more tightly related to Journey to the West, and wanted the story to end after the hunt for the Dragon Balls was complete. However, something happened in the middle of this first arc that made Toriyama change his mind. What that isn't exactly clear, but we can be sure it happened, since a year would mean all the way to the end of the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. Once that tournament arc hit, the series became really popular, so it was only obvious for Toriyama to continue forward. This was very surprising to me. I didn't expect at all for him to just want to end it after the first hunt for the Dragon Balls. But then again, that first arc feels so different and isolated compared to every other arc in the series that it kind of makes sense looking back in retrospective. Another point where the series could have ended was the Piccolo Daimyo arc. Obviously, we know now that this was the big childhood part ending. However, Toriyama had no intentions to end it, as he answered a question about it on the Tankobon Volume 12 Q&A. However, he did threaten to end the manga in protest to his editor. Back then, it was very rare and could be a gamble to have a shonen character grow up. Toriyama was determined to make Son Goku grow up into an adult. Otherwise, he would not continue the series. As his editor, Torishima recounts in Shenlong Times number 2. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure glad he won that gamble. Goku growing up is one of the most genius things Dragon Ball did. Letting us see a different world through Goku's grown-up eyes is a very charming thing indeed. It is possible for him to have wanted to end the Dragon Ball manga during the Saiyan arc as well, though there isn't much evidence for it. Toriyama at the time had stated that he wanted to continue the series for a bit longer. He didn't have too much planned ahead, especially not Frieza. This explains why Vegeta and Nappa claim to be the strongest in the universe, even though they are aware of Frieza. This is easily explained in universe as just Saiyan pride, however, so it works out. Toriyama most likely continued it because it was popular, and he wanted to keep it popular. And of course, Vegeta became a very prominent character through the rest of the series, even if Toriyama claims that he doesn't really like him that much. Perhaps one of the most prominent rumors about this series' end is the Frieza fight. It seems only natural for Dragon Ball to end after Goku seemingly dies and defeats the Emperor of the Universe. However, we know 100% that he did not want to end it here. In 1991, Toriyama had an interview published in Jump Gold Collection Dragon Ball Z Anime Special 2. Quote, "Still though, it's strange that even after doing so much Dragon Ball, I don't want to end it yet. Normally, I'm pretty fickle by nature." This magazine was published around the time Goku turned into a Super Saiyan. Thus, we know that he did not meant to end it just yet. The Cell arc is another possible ending, as it's perhaps the most obvious one. Goku's dead, Gohan has become a hero, and other stuff like that. However, there is nothing that suggests this, nor has Toriyama ever said anything of the sort. He probably had no choice but to continue it, as he was very far along in the storyline and Shonen Jump, his editor, and Bandai would probably not have been very happy with him ending the series. Plus, it seems that Toriyama had some stuff planned ahead. The series finally ended in the Buu arc, but have you ever wondered why it seems like Gohan is supposed to be the hero at first? Well, that's because he was meant to be. However, Toriyama realized that, unlike Goku, Gohan didn't really fit the role as the main hero of the story. In an interview for Daizenshu 2, Toriyama states, "I intended to put Gohan in the leading role. It didn't work out. I felt that compared to Goku, he was ultimately not suited for the part." So, in some ways, the Cell Saga was at least intended to be the end of Goku's story. But not the end of the Dragon Ball mythos, as it would live forward, with Gohan and Goten as main characters instead.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back. And now back to our show.
Finally, we reached the actual ending of the series. Keep in mind, almost no one knew that the Buu arc was the ending. In fact, in the second to last chapter, Toriyama claims there's something important to announce in the next chapter. Though, in retrospective, it's kind of obvious where it was leading to. If anything, this is the one thing Toriyama did plan ahead. But just think about it. You're a kid in Japan reading Shonen Jump, and there's something special going to happen in the next chapter of your favorite manga, and that is that it's ending. It's kinda crazy, isn't it? But anyways, as Toriyama explains in the final chapter, quote, "I truly thank you for faithfully reading Dragon Ball for so terribly long. I'm very grateful for how all of you supported me up until the end. The truth is that I decided on this a long time ago, but a lot happened. So please forgive me for announcing this so suddenly. I've asked a big favor of everyone concerned, and I'm ending the manga. Of course, I humbly apologize to all of you fans too. I'm very sorry. From now on, I think I will take a little break, and then leisurely draw one-shot works. You'll definitely see me again. I think it should certainly be interesting, so look forward to it. Well, until that day, this is goodbye. Let's meet again." This is an awesome way to end the series, in my personal opinion. Though I know a lot of people aren't happy with it. But before I touch on that, did you notice that he asked a favor? Well, we can't be exactly sure what he meant by this. But what I think is that he had to ask everyone concerned, that means Bandai, Shonen Jump, his editors, everyone concerned with this, about ending the series. We may not think about it often, but Dragon Ball is a huge franchise that expands far above the anime and the manga. So if Toriyama decided to just end one of them, that means a lot of people would be left without jobs in the foreseeable future. Less video games means less work for video games. Less story to cover means less to adapt for the anime. Overall, it just means that more people would be looking for jobs, since at least part of their livelihood would depend on Dragon Ball. So, what about the actual ending? It was certainly special for Shonen Jump, as the final chapter was printed in color and limited color. Only the second time for the magazine for a full chapter. This chapter contains a special message, along with an image of Goku looking back at the first chapter. A long time ago, this story, that began with a brief encounter, has at last arrived at the present day. From now on, you'll have to see things with your own eyes. So please, take a look. It could be quite fun. Therefore, this is the final chapter. Then, the very last comment from Toriyama in Jump is, "I can't thank you all readers enough for your support these last 10 years. Honestly, thank you all. Akira." As we know, this ending features Goku and Oob finally meeting at the Tenkaichi Budokai, and Goku leaving with him in search of further strength. The anime does change it a little bit and shows more of the tournament. But did you know there are actually two endings to the Dragon Ball manga? The original one, published in Shonen Jump, ends with Goku and Noob flying off, and a message from the narrator saying that the world will be safe as long as there are Dragon Balls. It is also followed by a message from Akira Toriyama. However, the Kansenban release contains two completely new pages that expand upon the ending. Goku calls down Nimbus and gives it to Oob, remembering the same smile on himself as a kid. The narrator message is also changed to focus on the characters keeping Earth safe, rather than the Dragon Balls. Finally, Toriyama's message is also replaced with a new panel of Vegeta, where he talks to himself about still wanting to defeat Kakarot. A lot of people have issues with this specific panel, since they feel it takes away from Vegeta's characterization and realization during the Buu fight. I kind of agree with the sentiment, but it feels more in line with Dragon Ball Super Vegeta. But that may be a story for another time. After the Dragon Ball manga ended, Dragon Ball GT started with very little interactions between Toriyama and the anime staff, though he did work on some rough drafts and character designs for the anime itself. But as far as he was concerned, Dragon Ball was over. That was until Dragon Ball Evolution happened and he was very dissatisfied with the project, prompting him to be more involved in future Dragon Ball productions, such as Battle of Gods, Fukatsu no F, and Dragon Ball Super. But that's pretty much everything you need to know about Dragon Ball manga endings. There were many possible situations where it could have ended, and I'm sure Toriyama would have loved to end it much earlier than he actually did. But tell me down below in the comments what your favorite Dragon Ball ending would have been. Would it have been during the Frieza arc, during the Cell arc? Personally, my favorite ending has gotta be the one we actually got. I think it's a very satisfying conclusion. But right after that, I gotta put the Dragon Ball GT ending. I think that's a beautiful send-off to the Dragon Ball story. If you want to read more about this and other Dragon Ball things that you may have not known about, be sure to check out kanzenshu.com. It's just a wonderful website, wonderful community, and with some of the most knowledgeable Dragon Ball fans you will ever meet. But anyways, be sure to share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Until we meet again. See ya!
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Smugstick, unless you want to be destroyed.
Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.